Good morning, West Ham fans. Let's talk about Guido Rodriguez, shall we? A very good Thursday morning to you. We're rapidly getting to the weekend. We're past hump day. And now it's Thursday. And soon you blink. And we'll be playing Arsenal at 5:30 kickoff at the London Stadium. We'll be having all the build-up, matchday sort of late morning, early afternoon. All that stuff leading up to the game. And also today it is Loppy press conference day. Da, 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 during a particular press conference ahead of the Arsenal game, and the return of the for sure counter and the focus monitor. Let's see how consistent. If there's one thing about Lopetegui, he's consistent with his for sures and he's consistent with his focuses. So we'll be bringing that to you later on this afternoon. But I wanted to talk about, actually, before I've got you, if you haven't seen it, Slaven Bilić. My Hammers 11. It was the one I've been teasing for the last week or so, 2 weeks. He's finally been on the channel. We had an hour long half. It was only going to be 45 minutes, but we had an hour and a half long conversation. We spoke about everything. We spoke about playing for West Ham. We spoke about leaving for Everton. We spoke about Moncur and Harry Redknapp and people like that. We speak about becoming the West Ham manager, the last season of the Bowling, moving to London Stadium. We talk specifically about Dimitri Payet, talk about Lanzini, we talk about Mark Noble, Declan Rice, and we also put together a combined 11 of Slav's players that he played with during his time at West Ham and players that he managed at West Ham. I think got a bit forgetful of the players he played with, but certainly could remember some of the players he managed, and some revelations about the types of transfers that David Sullivan would want to action, particularly defenders. So go back. We'll put a little clip on at the end as a little teaser just to show you if you haven't seen it already. But I want to talk about Guido Rodriguez. Now, obviously, the Argentinian... Oh, where's he gone? That's Holly. That's it. That's better. Now, obviously, we signed the 30-year-old Argentinian international back in the summer on a free transfer, having just left Real Betis. And it's been fair to say, in all honesty, it's not been the best. Clearly, there's no denying he's a good player, but the style of the Premier League doesn't seem to suit him. And there were reports emanating from Spain that he was looking to go back to La Liga with potentially Real Betis, as a potential destination. Obviously, Pablo Fornals is currently captain at Real Betis, doing a great job over there. He's the old Cockney Cazorla. But it was believed that Betis had no money to sanction a move, really. But according to reports in Info Real Betis, it states that West Ham would allow Guido Rodriguez to exit London Stadium for a fee of just £2.5 million. The Spanish media outlet reported yesterday that the Hammers have said they'll only allow the Argentinian international to leave if they receive back the money they spent on his signing on bonus. Obviously, it was a free transfer, but it was a signing on bonus and then wages. So fair enough. Okay, yeah, he can go, but only for the money we paid him, which is fair enough. However, the report adds that if he wants to return to Real Betis, La Liga side will not be willing to invest any money into his transfer, but only take him on a loan deal, which I don't think the club would be interested to look at, unless it's a loan with maybe an obligation potentially. It's not exactly what West Ham are looking for, but it will take some of those wages off the West Ham wage bill and potentially allow them to bring in another player on a 6-month loan deal, for example. We've been linked with the likes of Kolo Muamdi from PSG, the striker. Obviously, we've been linked with Evan Ferguson as well. Necessarily, that's the area we probably need to put more bodies in than necessarily the midfield as well, because I think, we've got Soler, we'll have Alvarez, we'll have Soucek. the potential to maybe even push in a Lewis Orford if need be. Obviously, Freddie Potts is out on loan. Paqueta, question mark whether, but that will be March. Will be the earliest time we'd probably lose him when the hearing is of the FA findings comes out to play. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's risky. You can also put Todibo. Todibo can play CDM. He was playing that the Everton game, wasn't he, for the last sort of 20 minutes or so. So anything's possible. But apparently 2.5 million is all it takes to get him out of the club. Which is, I think it's fair enough. Sometimes clubs have quite exaggerated. The fact he's only been here for a few months already. So just pay back the signing on fee. I think it actually seems quite fair, to be honest. You might not agree. Let me know in the comments below. But I don't think that's too bad of a deal, really. But I want to talk about another midfielder. I want to talk about Tomas Souček. Yes, Guido Rodriguez might want to go. And even if Guido doesn't get his wish, he's going to stay at the club. He's not going to force a move. Not unlike Dimitri Payet, who we spoke about with Slaven Bilić. Good segue there, Russ. But obviously, Tomas Souček scored another goal on Monday, starting off our very comprehensive 2-0 victory. First time in a long time, I think we've deserved the victory, if that makes sense. Sometimes we might have got the victory. I'm thinking like Crystal Palace and things like that, and we didn't really play very well, but we actually deserved that victory on Monday. But he's broken a record at West Ham due to that extra goal. Now, he always seems to be there or thereabouts when it comes to getting a goal, doesn't it? Bless him. And he's not the most creative player. He's not a poster boy for football, but he's bloody hard worker. But he became on Monday the first midfielder for West Ham in Premier League history to score 30 Premier League non-penalty goals. Mark Noble's the only midfielder who scored more Premier League goals for West Ham than Tomas Souček in terms of midfield, but only 19 of those were non-penalty goals. So he's now bagged himself 35 goals in 220 games. And when you look at some of the players who have been around, he's outscored the likes of Scott Parker and Frank Lampard and Junior, that is, and fair play. He's clear. He's an incredibly important player to West Ham, and when utilised in the right way, he's so good. So good. It's incredible when you look at his figures. He was arguably one of the ones tipped to, join David Moyes out the door in the summer, but shows his importance. And that's a manager in terms of Julian Lopetegui who's really taken him to heart and is quite an indispensable player, I'd say. And when it comes to like needing to dig out a result, when it comes to putting your body on the line, there's none out there that do it like Tomas Souček. He's bled more than a lot of us have in our lifetime, and that's for the club. But as I said, top Premier League midfielder, non-penalty scoring player in West Ham's history. There we go. And I openly criticise Antonio quite a lot, and he's the Premier League all-time goal scorer of all time for West Ham, and he'll always have the accolade for a long time. I think that, and so will Souček. Fair play to him. And that's it, my friends. As I said, thank you very much for your time. Just a quick little morning show. We'll be back just after lunchtime with the Julian Lopetegui press conference synopsis. You don't need to sit there and wade through all the adverts and then try to listen to what he says. Trying to hear what the journalists say. We do it for you. And also we do it a bit tongue-in-cheek. And we do it with the for sure counter and the for sure counter and the focus monitor. Or is it the other way around? So we always have a bit of a giggle anyway. If you're new around here, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to give it a like, comment, share. We've had a raft of new subscribers because of one Mr. Slaven Bilić. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to put a little teaser at the end. Go and see it today. Much love. Bye-bye.
Once a hammer, always a hammer, right?
Hoping that this is the start of some really good things to come.
Yeah, how many times you said that? John Moncourt, Ian Bishop, Ian Dowie, Julian Dix, and there were a few more, but that's 4 or 5 of them were like, you had to be always on your toes, you know what I mean?
Never safe.
Never. I think that it was the last season at Upton Park, and next season we are moving. It was a bit of a burden also, you know. Give me the names, and he said like Dimitri Strange, Dimitri Payet, and I said, like, he goes, do you want him from Marseille? It's not very expensive, blah blah blah. I said, yeah, straight away, he's like top player. If we can, but I didn't believe that we can get him. Moving the stadium, better stadium, but you have to adapt to that stadium. It's difficult, you know. It's difficult. TV breakers, TV pots, okay. Then
Antonio, you bought as a right back, right wing back.
I didn't want to play a right back. No. Sherman told me that he will never spend more than 10 million for a defender. Yeah, and then I left, and they got that FIFA deal for 25.